start the recording. Hello, hello, everyone. How are we doing tonight? I hope you guys are doing amazing. Give me a sec. I am single-handedly doing this. I'm going live. Let's hope it works. I hope it does. Welcome to our Tuesday Zoom. I am so grateful for you guys to be here. Thank you for taking the time to joining us this evening. I don't need to tell you that we've got more problems now in the world than we ever have. And as the world opens up, I hope we get to go back to interacting and loving on people as much as we can. But for right now, we're blessed to be part of an amazing company that gets to bless people from a distance online. And I'm gonna go ahead and do a screen share right here. Okay, Todd is muted. Where is it? Here we go. Is this it? I think this is the one. Yes, this is the one. All right. So welcome. I am here to talk to you today about our company called Isagenix. What you're going to hear today is 3 incredible stories of transformation. And when we think of transformation, we don't just think of physical transformation. We think of mental, we think of financial, we think of transformations that can be passed on and make a difference in the world, leading by examples. Our company is based on integrity. It's been around for 18 years. You're gonna hear some earning disclaimers. You're gonna hear a guy that's, making some good money, and you're gonna hear weight loss. You're gonna hear an amazing story of weight loss that is, from unheard of for most people. They work a lifetime to try to achieve it, and he's done it in a shorter period of time. Performance as well. But welcome to our Zoom of Isagenix. Isagenix is a company built on integrity and the vision to impact the world's health. Our mission is definitely to create the world's greatest health and wellness products and business opportunities, and together we transform lives both physically and financial. We blend the best of science and nature, and we create quality nutrition, convenience, and simplicity. Everybody knows that our health is a fundamental pillar of living a magnificent life. Without our health, we've got nothing. And now more than ever, I believe we can see that, how important it is that we have health that has not yet been compromised. And fueling our body with the right nutrition can do that. Here's a little bit numbers for all people that are looking at numbers and like numbers. We have over 50 full-time staff scientists on our company that work to give us the best nutrition and the best products. We're in 18 different markets. We've donated millions and millions and millions of dollars because we care about the world and other people, not just ourselves. How do we do that? With high quality nutrition. We have different products. I hope you become inspired and motivated by these amazing transformations. And without further ado, I am going to give the floor to this incredible gentleman who's going to share on how Isagenix has changed his life. He's a loving husband and father of 3, 32 years young. He's a critical care flight paramedic and a 7-year law enforcement officer. So Justin, where are you?
I am here.
Can you please unmute yourself? Here you are. Yay. Take it. Tell us what Isagenix has done for you.
Ooh, we don't have enough time for that tonight, but I'll give you just a brief summary because it is forevermore changing every single day for what this is doing in my life. First, thank you for putting this call together for us each and every Tuesday night and showing up with the other leaders and being present. And thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight about performance and what this has really done in my life. So I want to rewind back to August last year. I had finally reached a certain point in my life where I looked in the mirror and I was unhappy with me. I was miserable and I was tired of being tired. I needed to make a change. And just so luckily, my friend Thomas had just gotten back from celebration and decided to be bold enough to start reaching out and telling people what he was doing. So I reached out to Thomas, inquired a little bit, got some information, got started. So for my first 2 weeks, I did nothing other than take the product. I was very skeptical. I'm sorry. I've got somebody calling me. All right, back with you now. I apologize for that.
That's what happens when you do live. Don't worry about it. Go with it. We're here.
So for the first 2 weeks, I did nothing. I was very skeptical about how this could help me. I had done several programs in the past. I'd had some results, yeah, but I was not ready for what it did, not only physically to my body, but what it did emotionally and mentally for me. After 2 weeks, I decided that in 3.5 months, I was going to run a marathon. Never before in my life had I ever, and I mean ever, dreamed that I would run 26.2 miles. I would have told you after laughing in your face that you were absolutely and absurdly crazy. Like, that is not going to happen. You're not going to catch me doing that. That makes no sense. That's too much time, and I got plenty of other stuff to do than go out there and pound pavement for 4 hours. Well, so I started training and I started running. Now, my wife will attest to you that I did not train like individuals that you see that train for marathons. There was no couch to 5K for me. There was no couch to marathon for me. Other than being hard-headed, the only other thing that was going for me was the products that I was putting into my body and the clean nutrition. My first mile back running was an 11:56 mile. And I could not even finish that. I had to walk and run that to make that. And I was embarrassed with myself on the inside, because coming through a fire academy and 2 law enforcement academies where they run you paramilitary style, I've done my fair share of running. So for me to be in that shape and to let myself go that far was an issue for me, and I was completely upset with myself. I continued to run, and I continued, most importantly, to fuel my body with these products. And what I noticed between me and several buddies that were getting ready for this marathon, and they kind of halfway trained or half butt trained like I did, but my runs were getting faster and faster. So let's fast forward a couple months. We're getting closer to race time, because race time is in December. And I had to prove to myself that I could run half of a marathon. So I went out into my town, city, and just took off running for 13.1 miles, just to prove to me that I could do it, let alone double that, because I'd never been that far before. See, before this, I had ran 10.1 miles on my own, and I hadn't done that in 6 years. So I ran a 9:37 pace, 9-minute 37-second pace overall for 13.1 miles. That's a pretty good pace. To be honest with you, a lot of folks are completely content and happy with being at a 10-mile pace, but I wasn't. So I didn't do anything for the next week and a half. I just ran the furthest I'd ever ran in my life, but I kept fueling my body like I needed to. A week and a half later, I ran 18 miles to prove to me that I could do it, because I had 26 coming an additional week after that. What I noticed when I got up that morning, and I spoke on it live the other day, I remember it just like it was yesterday. It was cold. My hands were numb when I went to go run that morning. I didn't really want to go run at 7:30 and run 18 miles, nor did I know whether I could do it. I got up, I drank my Isoline peach mango shake, set my blender cup or shaker cup on my trunk, and I took out and I ran. And when I got back, what I noticed was I had increased or had gotten faster in my time by 30 seconds overall. I had literally just dropped 30 seconds of an overall pace and added 5 miles to my run. And that was the furthest I had been in my life. Now let me take you to the next weekend. It's cold, running a marathon, and I'm standing there with my buddies, and I said, hey guys, I'm shooting for this time frame. This is what I want to do for me. I want to chase this time. Do you care if I go and run, or are you going to have your feelings hurt that I'm not sitting back here with you? No, man. You do what you want to do. When they say go, have at it. So when they said go, I struck out and I was running. I was on pace to hold a 9-minute mile pace for 26.2 miles. I had several friends and my wife texted me while I was running because they can keep up with you. And all until mile 22, I was at a 9-mile pace. I had some physical issues that happened at mile 22, and I walked around the last 4.2 miles, but I still finished under a 10-minute mile pace. No, I didn't finish in 4 hours, but I finished in 4 hours and 15 minutes, physically hurting. My partners and my buddies, they finished in 4 hours and 55 minutes. Now, the only difference between me and them was the nutrition that I was consistently fueling my body with day in and day out. Not only 2 weeks into the program when I decided that I was going to run a marathon, had I fallen in love with what I was doing and how I felt, but I could no longer deny to anybody, and most importantly to myself, I could not deny the results and how I felt and the changes that were being made. So these products, just a simple analogy, if you think of a car, you think of a gasoline engine. If you pull up to the pump with a gasoline engine and you pour diesel fuel in it, you're not going to get very far. It's going to spit, sputter, if it even cranks. Well, when we grab that cheeseburger, when we grab that Snickers, that Red Bull, that Coca-Cola, that Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, whatever you're putting in there, you're putting diesel fuel in your gas engine. But you pull up to the pump and you put that 93 octane, high octane gasoline, that's that extra little bit of dough, you're going to get high performance out of it. You might as well be putting jet fuel in your body when you are putting this into your body and allowing your cells to function like they're designed to do. And you get the toxins out of there, freeing and opening the cell body to take in the clean nutrition and run rampant and fuel your body with extra energy and the better sleep, which further leads me into the AMP line, which is what I'm doing now. Because see, those goals in the beginning were for me to lose weight and to feel better. But now I've transitioned, which is what I can do with this system. Now I'm packing on lean muscle. For any of you that have been watching the Ice Best You page, you've clearly seen me acting goofy doing a whole ton of push-ups, going back and forth with Jeff and Debbie and Nick and Jason Ganson and Mark Greer. We're all doing push-ups for our 11-day shred. But you know the best part of all of that? I'm not even sore after I've done over 100 push-ups in a day going back and forth with my friends. My muscles are fueled. My muscles are growing. You may laugh, but I looked in the mirror last night and I always say that I have a bird chest. Like I've never been able to grow big chest muscles. My arms always grow, but I'm noticing my chest growing. I'm noticing my shoulders defining. And it's doing nothing more than I've been doing with fueling my body and incorporating my nitro pre-workout, sliding in a nitro bomb with an E+ energy shot, using my nitrous oxide beforehand to vasodilate my blood vessels and allow more blood to get to my muscles and fuel them and carry more oxygen for them so I can get a better pump and a better workout. And then using my tri-release after, so I get the protein I need immediately, then a delayed, then a longer delayed and substantial amount of protein to constantly rebuild the amino acids that I need for my muscles to grow. And my repair that keeps me from being sore. You know, we all like to go to the gym. Thank God they're finally opening again. But we like to go to the gym and we work out and we're like, yeah, man, I'm so sore. Like, yes, I got to get pumped. I mitigate that with repair. I go in there and work and work and work and work and work until I can't work anymore. And then I go and I leave and I hit my tri-release and I hit my repair, my BCAAs, and I'm repairing everything I just destroyed, allowing them to rebuild and putting that high octane of products and nutrition into my body. And all I'm doing is letting it transform with what I'm putting in. So if you,
That is So awesome. Sorry. That's,
No, you're fine.
you know, when you kept telling all the different, well, there's a couple of things that came out while you were sharing your story. So first of all, thank you so much. You're inspiring. I've never been a runner, but I always try to, you know, I've actually even asked the lady who was an ultra marathoner, and I said, what is it? She goes, first is the nutrition, and second is your mental. And she told me, she said, she says, you can't think two thoughts at the same time. And her suggestion to me, I said, how do you run for 24 hours? She says, I tell myself I run. And she literally says, I'm not a runner, I run. And she says, I run. And she does that whole over and over and over, and it just works. And the nutrition is what you need for your body to not give out. And you use the car fuel analogy, and, you know, I saw some comments, everybody's loving the jet fuel. I feel like we're getting a tune-up. I feel like, you know, you know, some people you can put the right fuel in your car, but if your air filter and your oil filter and you don't have enough brake fluid, you're screwed, right? So I feel like Isogenics gives us all of the nutrition for our body, our car to run as smoothly as possible. And when you were talking about the products, I imagined this tool belt. I saw you having like a tool belt, like, oh, I'm sore, you know, I'm going to be sore. Let me take my post workout, you know, oh, I need extra energy. Let me get my nitro, you know, it's like having tools and shots. I don't know why that just came to me, but it's incredibly amazing to have all the tools in one. So you don't have to, it's like, okay, well, I need to go to this store to get this product, and I need to go to that store to get that product. And no, you just have them all delivered to your door. You just do it and your body delivers, right?
That is absolutely correct. There is not another product that I use. And I get asked quite often, what are you using? What do you do for pre-workout? What do you do for this? Can you recommend me a protein? Absolutely, I can. I can recommend you and set you up to use the same ones that I'm using, because what I'm using is the best that's going to be out there for me. I'm not going to put something that's subpar into my body when I know better. Absolutely not. Obviously. And when I got our hands on the best thing and the cleanest nutrition and pre-workouts, and there's just nothing better you can put in there.
Living proof. Who wants to run a marathon? Who would like to have the endurance to run a marathon? I know I would. I would. I've ran my first 5K because of these products. I've never ran in my entire life. And the last mile, there was a 6-year-old that was running by herself because her mom was too overweight to run with her, and actually ended up giving that little girl a piggyback ride for the last mile. Talk about being exhausted and sore. I'm like, I didn't think I could finish it by myself, and here I did with a 6-year-old on my back. So thank you so much, Justin. I really appreciate your share, and I hope that whoever's watching this is understanding that they too can run a marathon if they decide, if that's what they want to do. Some people might not want to run a marathon. Some people might just want to be able to keep up with their kids. Some people may want to perform at a different level. But we have the products, we have the system that can offer them that, and you are definitely living proof of that. And I appreciate you sharing that, and I hope that whoever is watching this, if you guys haven't met Justin and you have any questions for him, reach out and ask him. But whoever invited you on this call can introduce you to these products, can answer any questions you have about this product. They reached out to you and they told you to join this and watch this Zoom because they love you, because they know that just like Justin, you might want to take your endurance, your performance, your life to a next level. And why not? If we can do it, so can you, right?
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quick again and introduce you to this awesome guy that I just had a pleasure of talking to not long ago on the phone. This gentleman, his name is Bugsy. And I hope he doesn't get mad at me, but I cut his daughter out of the picture so I can put it together so you can actually see the difference, the before and after. I mean, I don't know if he's really mad in that first picture, but he kind of looks like he's mad too. It's like, now he's smiling. He's a lot happier. So this gentleman has 25 years retail management experience in the car business. He's a phenomenal, successful businessman, father of 3, loving husband, and he's released 90 pounds with our program. So I'm gonna go ahead and unmute. I'm gonna ask him to unmute himself. And I want you guys to take the time to listen to his story, to know what, and while you're listening, it might not be you. Maybe you don't have 90 pounds to lose, but maybe someone you know, someone you care about has been struggling, has tried everything else out there and hasn't been able to release those 50, 90, 100, 200, 400 pounds out there. If anybody comes to mind when you hear Bugsy's story, reach out to them after the Zoom, because if he can do it, so can they. And if it is you, and I know we have a few other 100-pound, I know Bugsy's going to be 100-pound, walking on stage soon, but I know I saw Hannah on here somewhere, and I know we have a few other 100-pound members on here. So I love you guys. Congratulations on losing all that weight and for setting an example for other people out there to show them what's possible. So Bugsy, where are you? Do we have your face? Because I know earlier you were without a face. We still don't have a face for Bugsy. Bugsy, no face for Bugsy. Okay, Milt, let me see if I can.
You do.
I do have a face? I don't see a face.
Arthur's iPhone.
Okay, well, can you unmute yourself? Oh, he's under Arthur's iPhone. Okay, let me unmute you. There we go. I can't hear you. We can't hear you. You don't have a volume. Bear with us, guys. This is live. This is how it works. Nope, we still can't hear you. I'm gonna give you time to work on your technical difficulties, and I'm gonna go ahead and mute you, and we'll just jump on to our next share. Let me go ahead and share my screen right here. Well, that's Bugsy. Here we go. Chris, where are you? I know we have your beautiful smile on here because I saw it earlier. So I want to introduce you guys to this incredible gentleman who is part of our team Isagenix. So he's basically a badass. Can I say badass? I can say badass. It's my own Zoom. I can say whatever. He's a badass athlete. Even though he looks really serious, he has a beautiful smile, and he lights up the room and he walks in it. And I've been in a lot of different celebrations and different meetings where I've seen him, and he just radiates this love. He's a husband and father of twins, 6-degree black belt karate. I got no idea what that means, but I know that means he can kick any ass he wants to kick, I'm assuming. He's his own karate studio for over 20 years, and he's had some incredible success with our company. So let me stop the share. Chris, where are you? Could you please unmute yourself? Yay!
Yes, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Christina and Debbie, for asking me to share my financial story. Just like anything else, as far as our health success or financial success, it's not going to be the same for everyone. So just that quick disclaimer, it's all based on our individual efforts and what we put into it. But let me go back. So kind of talking about my backstory, I'm a martial artist. I've done martial arts since I was 5 years old. So essentially being a 6-degree black belt just means I've done it for a long time and I'm getting old. So, that particular business for me, it's just been what I've known. I've grown up in martial arts. And when I was 19, it was just my dream to own my own studio. And so at 19 years old, and this, I guess, is a clue as to me thinking or knowing I might be good at business. At 19 years old, I somehow convinced my parents to put up their house as collateral for a loan for me to start my studio, or actually take over my studio. So I purchased the studio that I was training at for, get this, $200,000. Okay, so at 19 years old, I was $200,000 in debt. So what I want you guys to think about is compare what it takes for you guys to have an Isagenix business to what I did when I was 19 years old. Okay, so flash forward, not quite 20 years, but about 20 years I've owned the studio. I actually just closed my commercial location this past December, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But essentially, over the years, there's just been a decline. And so I was kind of downsizing as time went by, was introduced to Isagenix. And literally, and for some of you guys on the call, you're going to have a very similar story. Some of you guys are working towards it, but I've never actually paid for any of my Isagenix products. And so the way that happened was I was approached just like everybody else is. I started, and within my first 2 weeks, I had already paid for my pack. Ever since then, I've always earned what I've used and then some. And so I've literally never paid for any Isagenix products, and that's open to anybody. Everybody has the opportunity to eat for free with Isagenix. Within, I would say, about 2 months, I replaced my wife's income. And so she was a preschool teacher. It wasn't a huge salary, but it was enough to help the household, right? But I replaced that within 2 months. Within about 6 to 8 months, I replaced my income that I was taking as the owner of the karate studio. So within that time frame, because I didn't need to take money from the studio, I was putting it back in. So I was solely living off of my Isagenix income. And so, you think about the idea of trading your time for money. Now I was trading my time for no money. I was spending upwards of 30, 40 hours a week at the studio and not making any money. Okay, so, when you look at that, I mean, anybody who's been a martial artist, I know Jeff and Debbie have been martial artists, it's a passion for us. And I was happy to give my time and teach my students, but knowing that I was taking that time away from my twins and from my wife, that made the decision harder and harder every time, right? So back in December of 2019, I decided to close my commercial location and do Isagenix full-time. And so essentially my roles switched. So I was doing the karate studio full-time and Isagenix part-time. And so in December, I made the decision to do Isagenix full-time and teach martial arts part-time. And then of course, with COVID-19 coming into play, even my part-time studio has been closed since mid-March. So there's zero income coming in from the studio. And so Isagenix for me has been an absolute blessing. And really what it all comes down to is opportunity, right? Somebody gave me the opportunity, and I believe Mike Jewell's on the call right now. I was at the park one day promoting my martial arts studio, and he was bold enough to come up to me and start a conversation with me. And I'm sure all of you have a very similar story of how someone contacted you. And when you look back, and this is something that I thank him for as often as I can, if I had chose not to be open-minded at that time, my life would be so much different, not just on a health level, but on a financial level. I mean, this is setting me up to be financially free. I'm not sure if you guys on the call, depending on how new you are, but, 2-star crystal executive is a pretty decent rank in the company. And, as I see my future growing with the company, and about a year ago, my wife decided to do the business with me, which has been a huge blessing as well. And I've really seen the business grow because of her. And so, anybody looking to make this your business versus a hobby, you definitely want to put that effort in because the possibilities are out there. But again, it all comes down to opportunity and just the simple time of me being open-minded. Because as a guy in general, it's very tough to let your ego go and set it aside. And for me to say that I was willing to accept help for something, almost 3 years ago, sometimes it still boggles my mind because I look back and I'm like, I was just so hard-headed about things. But something inside me told me to be open to it. And I can't, thank Mike enough. And of course that goes all the way up, to my upline. Alvy is the one who introduced Mike to the program. And so it's kind of that ripple effect, right? And so, if you guys are looking to make a business out of it, put your best foot forward. It's given me so much as far as time with my family. I've gotten to travel the world with Jeff and Debbie, going on different trips with the company. And so, I really encourage you guys, continue to be open-minded, accept the training that's being given to you. Because even now, sometimes my ego says, well, I can do it this way, but look at the people I have to follow. Look at the mentors I have in front of me, and Jeff and Debbie, Mike and Alvy, Jennifer Trainer, all the way up the line. And so, I thank you guys for the time and allowing me to share. If you guys have any questions, I'm always here to help and answer any questions you guys have.
Thank you so much, Chris. I did not know that you actually asked your parent to put their house as collateral, and you know that and I think that that's what a lot of people do out there. They go in debt to start a business, right? And my mom and I opened a restaurant. I remember, I think it was about over $500,000 that we had to start. You know, she got a building, and then she got this, and to be able to just make, especially in a restaurant, like for her, a restaurant business, it's, you know, it has an 80% failure rate, yet people open restaurants all the time because they want to be their own bosses, right? So you had that entrepreneur mind, and you knew this is what you wanted to do, and you followed your passion, and your passion was to teach others how to, you know, how to defend themselves and how to learn the martial arts. And now to be able to do that when, from a, you know, because you want to, not because you have to, one, and two, it's like with COVID, did you have to close the studio down? Would you have had to close it down anyways, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, and you know,
so that would have been really bad on you financially, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, and when I closed the commercial location back in December, it cost me $10,000 a month just to run it. So, you know, again, compare that to my Isogenics business. You know, if I wanted to just keep my Isogenics account active, it's just about $170 a month to have the ability to earn money with this company. Whereas with my studio, it was about $10,000 a month. And that is such a huge difference. I don't, it's completely gone.
It's insurance, it's, you know, it's overhead, it's rent, it's all the things you have to purchase, all the things you have to do. I mean, having a business is hard. I would say having a business is hard. Having Isogenics, it's you're a product of the product. You're a walking billboard, and you share and you help people. When I think of Isogenics, I think of, you know, we help people. We help solve the problems that keep people up at night, right? It's whether it's financial, whether it's, you know, how can I have more time with my family, right? Well, we have a solution. How can I have more, you know, how can I have a better life, a better income, or a better, you know, possibilities for my children, pay for the college. Last week we had Stephanie that shared, and she was able to pay, because of Isogenics, pay her daughter's college tuition, which is over $200,000. You know, I mean, somebody might want to pay their college tuition. Somebody might want to stay home with their children, or, you know, like you said, the first part of Isogenics for you was bringing your wife home to be home with the twins, you know, and everybody has different financial goals. But what I'm seeing from what I'm hearing from you is they started here and now they're up here. You know, you've taken it to the next level. You want to just make this a legacy. You want to be home with your children and be and do and travel the world with Jeff and Debbie and the rest of us, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I am
Literally,
so grateful.
All it took was me to change and it wasn't really changing. I just took the same passion I had for martial arts in helping people. And now it's just, I can help anybody, not just the people who want to learn martial arts. So anybody I know who wants better health, I have the ability to help them. And so I just took that same passion from teaching into the world of health, and it's just my life now.
What advice would you have for someone out there? And I know you kind of reached in it, but if you had to narrow it down to one thing, someone that has a business that's either, you know, suffering now because of COVID, or, you know, they're married to their business, you know, and you know the term when you work there and you know, if you're not there, it's just all hell breaks loose type of thing. Or even if they have a job that they're passionate about and they love it and whatever, what advice would you give them from a business owner perspective as to, like, okay, well, this is the hard part. This is Isogenics. Like, what?
Well, my advice, of course, to anybody is we all need better health. So start there. But as a business owner, if you have your mind towards business, this business model is a no-brainer. I mean, the second I understood what was possible, I dove into it, and I study the comp plan. I mean, there's no reason not to understand what the comp plan has to offer, because if Isagenix puts money on the table, I'm going to try to snag it. That's my mindset from a business perspective. But as a business owner, you're around people all the time. So you're kind of the front man. You're the person who they look to for different things. And so if you have that natural influence over someone, where they respect your opinion and they're able to listen to you and be open-minded to a conversation that you have with them, being able to share something like this is, in my opinion, easier for a business owner. But from the mindset of a business owner, I was closed off to the opportunity right from the get-go. When Mike signed me up, I said, I want no part of the business because I already have my own business. But literally the turnaround time for my mind to change was less than a week. And Mike
jumped the same way, right? Mike just, he says, I'm done. This is it. He jumped full force. So you had a great coach right there. We got to give props to Mike.
Oh yeah. And so for me, it was just the second someone asked me what I was doing for my health, because they noticed my physical change within a week, because I'm literally in front of people all the time. And so within the first week, they were asking me what I was doing, and I saw that as my opportunity to help people. So, for all the business owners out there, there's no reason, even if you're a very successful business owner, there's no reason not to have another stream of income. And being able to leverage what Isagenix has as a comp plan and create a residual income, there's nothing like it.
Thank you so much for your time. I really, truly value it. And I appreciate you taking the time from your family to share this with us and with the world.
You guys are absolutely welcome.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, how incredible is that to know that you too could have this company give you that freedom to stay home with your family, to retire your wife, or to retire yourself, right? To have less stress and not have to worry about $10,000 overhead. I'm like literally overhead. What am I doing? I don't know. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again, and we're gonna give Bugsy another try. Where's my share screen? Here we go. I thought I lost my button. There we go. I didn't lose my button. I'm going to show you a picture again because, in case you didn't see it well last time, or even if you did, it's worth looking at. Bugsy, are you there? Can we see your beautiful smile and hear your voice? Yes? He sent me a message saying he was around. Debbie, do you see him anywhere? Hold on, guys. Hang on there. I promise he's worth the wait. I promise.
He's there. So it looks like he's on his computer and it says Arthur's iPhone, or maybe he's on iPhone. And then he's got Bugsy with a blank.
Can you hear me?
There he is.
Yes, we can hear you. Leave it to the teenagers to help with technology.
My daughter just run in here.
Thank you, daughter.
That's right. Well, cool. Well, guys, I am excited. I'm sorry for my technical difficulties, but I'll be like Henry VIII told most of his wives, I won't keep you long. My journey started a little bit different. I'm a lot like Justin. I ran a marathon. No, I didn't. Nothing like that. I'm not a karate expert, but I will tell you what I am. I've been the fat kid my whole life, the last one picked on the playground. All those things, but I was able, with personality and all, to be able to overcome a lot of that, and smile through it and understand that was the hand that I felt like that I had been dealt. So for many years I was overweight, bad overweight, morbidly obese, and you go through all of that, and I got to a point where last March I went to my endocrinologist, which, if you don't know what that is, that's a diabetic doctor. I'm an insulin pump wearing diabetic. A1C is completely out of the roof, uncontrollable. And as a health disclaimer, as we all say, Debbie Beebe almost fainted about 3 weeks after I was in, and I started telling her some of my results that was going on. So went to my endo, and he said, Bugsy, or he said, Arthur, you got to do better. You're going to die. He said, you know, your diabetes is getting out of control. I can't keep medicating more and more and more. So I was like, wow, you know, it was kind of a slap upside the face. So I knew Chris Harville. Me and Chris had been friends a long, long time, and I knew Chris had got involved in this organization. I didn't know. My endo said there's 2 or 3 companies. Isagenix was one of them. And so I called Chris, and I'm going to tell you, Chris didn't have the best sales presentation, because and I know Chris is on here, but you know, anybody want to guess what Chris said to me? He said, give me your credit card. That's what he said. He said, give me your credit card. And I said, what? He said, give me your credit card. It's going to cost you about $500 or so, but you're not going to believe this. And then he shared a few things with me. And I said, he said, no, give me your credit card. What is it? And I said, well, it's American Express. So I ordered my pack, and then of course Chris started explaining some other things, and I started getting excited. So I got my pack, and I was working out of town from my family. I was working out of town. I got my pack out of town. So I was there, and I started, you know, doing it really religiously. And in just about 30 days, it was totally different. My body, my stomach started getting indentions in it, not muscles, but just from being bloated and swollen. I started getting little, you know, cracks and stuff, and I could see, and I called my wife and I said, you're not going to believe what's happening to my body. And I was stunned. And so as things went on, about probably 75, 80 days later, I was out of a size 44 pants. And just as a little sidebar here, I started at 320 pounds, and I'm about 5'9". I was wearing a 22 neck. So if you look at my picture today, this is a 17
Bugsy,
shirt.
can you turn on your video? We can't see you. I don't know what happened. You were Arthur, and now you're under Bugsy, and we can't see you. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see it.
Okay, that's fine. No worry. Keep going. I'll show you.
But so as I went to doing a whole lot better, and I got to feeling better, and my wife is a small lady, so she really went to pushing on me about exercising and doing some things a little different. So I started walking and exercising, going to the gym, she doing Live Fit. And as things went on, about, you know, probably 7 or 8 months in, I was 90 pounds down. And you know, what I'm going to say right now is probably a little goofy, but when you're a big guy, or, you know, that's all I can speak to, I started seeing parts of my body that I hadn't seen in a long time. Okay. All right. So, I mean, I know that's funny, but it's the truth. And I posted, and you can, you know, Chris Harville's on here, and he'll tell you this. I sent Chris a picture of a pair of tennis shoes, and I had my feet in them. And I said, Chris said, I said, do you know what this means? And Chris sent me back and said, don't tell me that you tied your shoes. And I said, on top. Instead of crossing my legs and tying my shoes, I bent down in the floor and tied my shoes like, you know, like normal people do. And Chris said, yeah, I know what that means. So we got a little bit of kick out of that. So as things went, I got excited about my whole journey of losing weight. And I went from a 44 in the waist to a 36. I actually changed the shoe size. And I am the typical guy that says nothing will work. I'm a Class A personality. I'm strong, bullheaded. You can't tell me anything. I'm going to do it my way. So on and so forth. But I said, you know, I'm going to try this, and I'm going to make it work. And like I told Christina earlier, the name of my website with Isagenix is what the doctor told me that day. It's called the dobettertalk.com, or, you know, the dobettertalk.isagenix.com. So that's what I share with people is, do you need to do better talk? You know, do you need to do better? Because I can see several of y'all out there. How many of y'all have ever said, I need to do better, or had somebody tell you, you know, I need to do better. I know I could do better. Well, that was me. And that was like a testimony right there. I need to do better. So I said, you know, I'm going to do it. And here I am, you know, a little over a year later, I'm still down about 90 pounds. With the COVID and all that and everything being closed, you know, haven't really lost a whole lot more, but I absolutely am a changed guy. I sleep better and everything. And how many of y'all have ever talked to Chris Harville? Harville told me like 2 or 3 days in, he said, hey man, I got to tell you something. And I thought, oh, here it goes. He's fixing to tell me that it don't always stay like this. And, you know, and this, and he said, do you remember how you feel right now? And I felt like I had been run over by a truck at that time at first. And he said, remember how you feel right now, because in a few weeks, when you start getting all those toxins out and everything, you're not going to, you're going to feel great. And then you're going to get to the point to where you're like, you know, I don't need this. I feel good. I don't feel any better. And there's been times where I've slacked off and didn't drink my shakes, didn't take my ionics, all those things, and felt like hammered dog crap. So jump back on, get the inflammation down, go back at it. And so I am, if anybody can do it, if this old boy can, anybody that you're struggling with as far as that, you know, needs to do better talk, it's easy. You know, financially, it's not that it is important. Don't get me wrong, but my wife, and she'll tell you this, and she got so mad at me, I was at my biggest and I was bringing groceries in and I was breathing really hard. And she said, Bugsy, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? And I said, hell, I'm trying to stay alive. Will you leave me alone? I mean, you know, I was panting from the garage to bring clothes in. So, I mean, to bring the groceries in. So it was, you know, it was a big change for me and my wife, my entire family. And now everybody except my middle child, which is 145 pounds, takes some semblance of isogenics. My wife is sold out. She actually ran the half marathon in a little over 2 hours the same day that Justin ran his. And my wife had never been a runner. And that's isogenics. And she would tell you that because of the nutrition and because of the things that she was putting into her body, the AMP, nitro, recover, and all those things afforded her the opportunity to be able to run for those beautiful children at St. Jude too. So, what I want to share this, and then I'll quit. As Chris will tell you, I can be long-winded, but I had a choice to either get better or get beaten. And you know, if you're beaten, you know that what that means is you don't learn a lesson from whatever happened. You know, you don't grow, you don't get stronger. You know, you don't become mentally tough when you're beaten. You know, none of those things happen. So you have to know that you're going to get better with every day. And you have to know that mentally you're going to get better. Physically, you're going to get better. Emotionally, you're going to get better. I became a better, you know, boss. I became a better father, you know, a better husband, and all those things. And those are true statements. Those don't have to be medical. Those are true statements. It's the facts, Jack. And I had the great pleasure of just in the last 14 days to be able to share with a man that I grew up with. And when I say grew up, we were 4 or 5 years old. His mother used to cook us bacon sandwiches every Saturday morning, and we watched wrestling together. And he, like myself, had got himself in a bad situation. And he, at his start, outweighed me by 100 pounds. And he's down 25, 30 pounds now. So that is my testimony to what I believe isogenics is all about. And it's not only about somebody like Justin that gets his wheels to be able to run the marathon and do those things. And then, you know, somebody like Chris that has the opportunity to get financial freedom. But for people like me and my partner that was way overweight also, we're getting our lives back and going to be able to live. I'll get to walk my daughter down the aisle when she decides to get married. And, you know, if you've never been there and, you know, you wake yourself up with that, you know, that gas for air, and let me tell you, getting where I am now, where I went from a 21.5-inch neck to a 17, and I get to sleep all night, is huge. So Debbie told me something one time, and she said, this is a personal development program with a paycheck. So that for me, it's been personal development, and I'm getting in Justin Echols shape now so that I can run financially with the rest of you rock stars on here. So Christina, I thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to share what's went on with me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I've seen a lot of comments, people loving and saying that this is just what they needed to hear. Look, you're getting all kinds of claps. I don't know if you can see them. We can't see you, but they're sending you claps and hearts because you deserve it. And your story is so inspiring because there's so, like Jennifer is like, hearts. We're all sending you hearts. There's so many other people out there searching, and I saw Hannah on here, who's a 100-pound club member, crying, drying her tears because she knows your story. She's lost over 120 pounds, and you know, because of people like you and her, there's going to be other people that are going to be able to look down and see their shoes, Debbie. Debbie's mind was not where you thought it was. I saw her face. Hold on. I'm going to unmute Jeff Beebe. And this is, I don't know if I should do this, but I think I will. Hold on. Unmute that. No, yes, I have to, Debbie, for one. No, Debbie goes, no.
There, I'm unmuted. What do you need?
No. What's that one thing you tell people? No, Debbie goes, no, don't.
No, Bugsy, I went straight to the guys, each and every one of us. I say, what is it? I say, hey, bro, I poke them in the belly. I said, you got a dicky-do belly going on. They go, what's that? I said, you don't know? They said, I do it again. It's a dicky-do belly. I said, your belly sticks out more than your dicky-do. So there you go.
Okay, that's exactly the conversation that came to mind when you were talking about struggles of, you know, not being able to look down, and little did I know you were talking about your shoes or whatever.
Well, if you cross your feet, if you know, big people cross their legs and tie their shoe. So if you think about the way that their shoes is tied, is the bow is over on the side of the shoe, not on the top. Well, you know, everybody makes fun of you, especially your buddies that know that. They'll say, I see you tied your shoes this morning, you know. But then when I went in and was able to just bend straight down and tie my shoes and the bow be on top, that was monumental. I mean, that was huge. For a fat kid, that was big.
Hannah, I see you, Hannah. Hannah's shaking her head. She knows your struggle. Thank you so much, Bugsy. I love your story. I appreciate you taking the time to share, and I cannot wait to see you walk on that stage as 100-pound and beyond. I am so grateful that you're part of this team. I am forever grateful to Chris for you know, taking the time and reaching out to you, and you know, everyone you see on this Zoom. And I actually, because his camera wasn't working, I went ahead and just kind of did a whole picture of everyone. Everyone on this Zoom and beyond has had somebody reach out. You know, Debbie reached out. Well, I reached out to Debbie, and then she, you know, reached back to me. Everybody's reached out to someone because we have some kind of a pain, whether it's financial pain, whether it's physical pain, whether it's emotional pain. We all have a certain kind of pain that we're struggling with. And I hope you guys that, you know, you heard 3 amazing stories today, 3 incredible stories of regular people, ordinary people just like you, that became extraordinary. In my book, they're all extraordinary. In my book, everyone has the potential, and I believe that everyone has the potential to transform their physical body, their mental capability, their financial, their bank account, you know. And And all it takes is having that vision of a better you, having that vision of being tired of being tired, enough, drawing that line in the sand, right? And saying enough, it's enough, right? And going from there, having different goals, just like everyone else does. My goals have never been to be able to tie my shoes. I've never had that struggle, okay? But for Bugsy, for Hannah's, for other people out there, that's humongous. So we all have different goals. My goal was to be able to keep up with my children. You know, Debbie's goal was to be able to improve her health. Jeff Beebe was to be able to just show everybody what his abs look like 24/7, and, you know, show them that, you know, you can be in your 50s and your 60s, and I know he'll be in his 80s and he'll still have better abs than most 20-year-olds, because that's just Jeff Beebe and how he does. So we all have different goals, and we all have different results. But what we all have in common is we all share the same system, the same company, we're part of the same team, the same program. And having the support and having someone else to have your back and someone else to encourage you and hold your hand and pull you through and say, hey, if I can do it, so can you. So get back to the person that invited you here, because the reason they invited you here, the reason they sent you this link is because they care about you. It's because they know that you're struggling with something, and this might be the solution. This might be the answer to your prayers. So here's what I know. I know that people who you have not met yet are struggling with similar problems that you just found out that there are solutions for out there. There's people that have their own businesses like Chris did, and they're looking for a way to have the financial freedom to be home with their children. Or there are people like Justin out there that want to take their performance to the next level. Or there are people like Bugsy out there that want to tie their shoes, want to keep up with their kids, want to come into the house bringing their groceries, and their wife not asking them what's wrong, right? And beyond. I mean, that's just a glimpse into it, right? We're on a mission to change lives. And we've changed lives for years. Isogenics has changed life for 18 years. Why not yours? Your life matters. You're worth investing in it. We can also, you can make, with one decision, you can have your ideal life, and you can go from dream to reality. Just think about it. Bugsy's dream was to be able to tie his shoe. I mean, I know he had bigger dreams, but just that alone. And he's done that in just less than a year. 90 pounds. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that everybody is different. Bugsy was able to lose that much. Somebody might be able to gain weight. Somebody might be able to just want to gain muscle, like Justin. And, you lose the fat and then you gain the muscle. So you can do it all. You can get paid to change the world. Just like Chris was talking about, he transformed his passion from helping people in martial arts to helping people improve their health, right? So we're here to help, and we can help you in 30 days. And how is it? It's like, the way I say it is like, we can help you do in 30 days what you may not be able to do in a year alone. And we're all here for you, and we're all here to help you achieve your ideal life, your ideal health. And together we can change the world. I mean, that's how I look at it. There's so many other people out there that need what we have. Let's share this. Get back to the person that loved you and cared about you and invited you to this call. And if you have anybody else that you can think of that would benefit from watching this, invite them to do so. We'll have the recording. Just reach out to the person that invited you here. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm so grateful for you being here. I'm going to stop this recording.